Veteran Salute is sponsored by the Devon James Injury Lawyers.
A Wichita State alum and member of the Greatest Generation recently celebrated his 100th birthday.
He's seen a lot in 10 decades, including what it was like in World War II. Gwen Bevel and photojournalist Nicholas Kiefer have tonight's Veteran Salute.
Ken Rupe says he was eager to go since all of his friends were already overseas following Pearl Harbor. He says a nurse in his unit did an amazing job of documenting all they endured.
That's the very first picture that I remember.
Ken Rupe says after basic and more training, he will never forget the ship that took the young soldiers overseas.
It was a great big ship, and I was a land person. I hadn't seen a big ship like that before.
He says it was an old cruise ship.
Well, first class, I say, there was 6,000 of us on there, so that was...
Rupe says their journey was dicey since the Mediterranean was still loaded with German submarines.
We had to dodge them, going zigzagging all the way over to Brazil.
Once they finally arrived, they slept in pop-up tents in the middle of a camel pasture. He says they were waiting on the invasion of Italy.
I felt proud that I was part of the military during the war.
He remembers when the sky was black, full of B-17s flying in perfect formation.
Coming back, a lot of them had been shot up and they were straggling. They were straggling.
Rupe says he almost saw combat since he was headed to the infantry. That was until they discovered he had some handy skills.
Weren't too many people that knew shorthand. And so I was able to get into a good assignment.
Rupe was in hospital administration.
I wasn't any hero, but I sure helped those that were.
The 300th was known as the Vanderbilt unit since so many who were part of it were graduates of the university, even the man at the helm.
He was a good commanding officer.
The unit was serving in Naples, Italy.
The hospital had a big red cross up on the roof. And so the Germans, they respected that.
They ran a 3,000-bed facility.
There were many of them that had lost limbs and chest surgery and that sort of thing. That we did the best we could, but as soon as we got them so they were able, they came back to the States.
Rupe says the hospital was dangerously close to a port.
Sometimes when they'd come in and to bomb the port, they would release the bombs a little too soon.
Big craters like this were left nearby. When Germany surrendered, Rupe says he was part of a group of about 50 that was headed for Japan.
Then they dropped the bomb and that changed that.
He says they were prepared for much worse if they were forced to invade Japan.
The war is devastating.
Rupe says he is proud to have been part of the 300th operation and is so thankful he and his brother, another member of the Greatest Generation, made it home safely.
I was lucky to be back home.
Once Rupe returned, he finished his education at Wichita State University. He went on to work for what would become Koch Industries, where he was an accountant for more than 35 years. He says when he started out, they only had about 50 employees. Now that number, of course, is in the thousands. Here for you, Gwen Bevel, KSN News 3.
On behalf of Devon James Injury Lawyers, we're honored to be here with Ken Rupe. Mr. Rupe was part of our Greatest Generation and served our country in World War II and recently just turned 100 years old. Thank you for your service, Mr. Rupe.
Thank you. I was proud to serve, and I wasn't any hero, but I served with those who were.
Veteran Salute is sponsored by the Devon James Injury Lawyers.